This is the Hollywood Outsider. I'm your interim host, Scott Clark, while Aaron Peterson, our illustrious founder, is currently out of the state. I know many of you are already missing the dulcet tones, but rest assured, Aaron will be back again next week. For now, I'm joined by our other two regulars, Brian Williams.
Hey, we got a substitute teacher.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. And also Justin McCumber.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Been a long week, but I'm glad we're here recording with you guys. It's been a while, about a week. Anyway, also joining us this week is a very special guest, Sean McGuire. He's a good friend of Aaron and myself. He's a local accountant and a huge movie buff. Sean, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good to hear. As is tradition here at the Hollywood Outsider, your first mission, should you choose to accept it, is to share with us your top 3 favorite movies. So lay it on us.
My top 3 favorite movies, in no particular order: Empire Strikes Back, Dark Knight, and Braveheart.
Empire Strikes Back, you won over Justin with that one. What was the second one?
Braveheart, too.
Yeah.
Braveheart?
Dark Knight, Batman.
Dark Knight, good choice. Any particular reasons why you chose those 3?
Because they're awesome.
It's a good reason.
And they have replay value. Like, you could put Star Wars on a loop at my house and just keep watching it.
I like your choice of Empire, the best of the Star Wars films. I don't remember, Justin. Are you in agreement with that as Empire being the best?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
We are in agreement. All right, so we're going to go through just a real quick rundown of the show. Obviously, this is the Hollywood Outsider. We are a movie and TV podcast. We're going to start out with the dailies, just to go over some movie news, things that are going on in the industry. We'll move on to our Stump the Ho question. That's our weekly trivia, and Justin will be heading that one up this week. Then we'll go into the big screen. We got new releases and box office recap before we get into the weekend releases and upcoming releases. And also, we're going to do a new segment that Aaron started. Is called What's This Movie Quote, where we're going to go over we've got a little clip from a movie that we played last week and see if we have any answers for that one, as well as play a new one. So for that, we'll go over the couch where we talk about TV news and DVD and Blu-rays, all the stuff that we've been watching at home. And then we'll wrap up with our From the Outside In, where we just do a little discussion each week about a topic that's on our hearts. This week we're talking about what is your favorite guilty pleasure film and why. And we'll finish up with that before we wrap up. So, guys, got any questions before we get going? You want to go right into it?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. The first story we got here is about the Expendables 2. We all know that Aaron is a big fan of the original Expendables. But apparently, the Expendables 2 is going to be rated PG-13. And Chuck Norris had something to do with that as part of his contract. How do you guys feel about this?
It sounds like a Chuck Norris joke waiting to happen. But...
Yeah, why can't Chuck Norris be in an R-rated movie? I don't understand.
Because Chuck Norris is a raving conservative. And so it doesn't surprise... What surprises me is the fact that the man made a career based on heinous violence in films, and yet is such a conservative. It speaks to that whole mindset of boobies are verboten, but let me, punch you in the face 1,000 times, and that's just fine. And maybe him being a conservative is a more recent development, but he is very conservative, so it doesn't shock me that he would want the film to, to not be filled with the sorts of gore and who knows what the swear words and whatnot that an R-rated movie could provide. But I'm not worried. PG-13 movies get away with quite a bit, so I don't see as big a difference between PG-13 and R now as maybe there used to be.
Yeah, I kind of see that. But,
yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe no nipple.
I don't know, though. With a movie like Expendables, though, granted, I still have yet to see the first one. Don't shoot me. But, I mean, isn't that kind of about, yeah, I hear Justin sighing. Isn't it just a lot of gratuitous violence, or am I off base?
Yeah, but, I think his big concern was language. And I think you can get away with trimming down the language. It's not a necessary item. Okay. I think some foul language does add a certain facet to certain movies, but I think you could get away without it in this case. Okay. It doesn't appear to be so much about reducing the violence. Maybe a little bit of the computerized graphics with, maybe some excessive blood or gore or something. But I mean, for the most part, what I gathered was it was just mainly just language.
So if
and and that's something I could live with.
Okay, so if you took the first Expendables movie and took out the majority of the vulgarity, would you think it would be a PG-13 movie?
I don't remember there being a lot of vulgarity in it.
I agree with you. I don't remember it being, but then again, I'm not looking for it. So.
Right.
I'm not sure why it was rated R to begin with. It had to be right on the line or something, because, there's not much there.
So maybe everybody's up in arms on this, for no reason. Maybe it's not that big a deal.
What? In our internet age, people up in arms over nothing?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Maybe it's the fact that Chuck Norris is the one who's able to go ahead and say this is what it's going to be. Like I said, it's a Chuck Norris joke waiting to happen.
Yeah, it sounds like it. All right, we'll go on to the next story here. George Lucas is in the news this week. Apparently, he's been on record to say that he is retiring from popular film. Although, I guess he's still going to do Indy 5, but I guess he's tired of all the whining and is not going to do any Star Wars films or films of that ilk. Justin, I got to ask you, what I know, got to go right to you, but I got to ask you, how do you feel about this story?
On the one hand, as any artist of any type knows, you cannot listen to your critics.
Mm-hmm.
You have to listen to your fans, and you have to please your fans. You cannot please everyone. There's no use trying. And so if people aren't going to like your work, then you should, other than trying to learn a little bit of maybe they have a point to some of their criticisms, you cannot let yourself get mired down in their negativity. Instead, you have to focus on who loves you.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel bad for George. He created a franchise that for several decades was basically the crown jewel of geekdom. And then over the course of 3 films, lost a large number of those geeks and turned what had been a venerated franchise into, for a lot of people, a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it deserves them. I think that the prequels have their issues, but I still love them. But maybe that's got more to do with my level of Star Wars geekiness than anything else. So I kind of feel sympathetic. The level of shit that gets thrown at him is probably greater than everybody except for maybe Obama, or whatever president. When you're that high, the level of crap that's thrown your way is huge. And I can't say that I blame him for wanting to say, you know what? Fuck you guys. In his best Cartman voice.
Take him out ball and going home.
Uh-huh.
Man, I don't know. I have a hard time feeling sorry for somebody that has that much money. I mean, and not just because of the money, but I mean, I understand, Star Wars was his passion project, and it was a big deal back then. But I mean, at some point, you're in the entertainment industry, and as much as you want to make a film for you, if you want it to make money, you got to appeal to the fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And granted, he had already sold them with the first 3 Star Wars movies, and everyone was going to go see the last 3, regardless. But where do you draw the line from being an artist and being a cajillionaire?
Well, he's made more money than his grandkids can spend.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if he wants to kind of take time off from making the big super blockbuster movies,
mm-hmm.
then and you want to make something smaller, a little bit more intimate or whatever, a little artsy, go for it.
Oh, I'm all for it. Yeah.
He's definitely earned the right to say, you know what, I'm stepping out of this, and and I'm going to do this smaller stuff. So I'm fine with it. I wouldn't mind seeing some of his smaller budget stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing him maybe even trying something, say like this Chronicle movie,
mm-hmm.
or or maybe kind of a throwback to one of his first ones, that THX 1134, if I'm not mistaken.
1138.
1138. Sorry, I stand corrected.
Yeah, Justin does that.
Well, yeah.
Grammar and Lucas.
So, I just think he's probably been ass whipped by this last movie, and he'll probably jump into something else big at some point.
It got blasted on the reviews. It didn't do well in the reviews. Red Tails, that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. The tomato meter has not been good, but I still want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, unfortunately, Lucas anything he's involved with is going to draw an inordinate amount of negativity. No matter if God himself had made that film,
Right.
there would still be plenty of people who would shit on it.
Oh yeah.
Strictly because Lucas's name's attached to it.
What about Indy 5? You guys done after the Crystal Skull, or you
I
still?
liked Crystal Skull. It had its problems just like any other film did, but I still enjoyed it. I do though regret that they took it in a sci-fi direction as opposed to the spiritual direction that the first and third were so good at. But still, I still kind of enjoyed it. But I think for me, it's more a Harrison Ford getting incredibly long in the tooth issue than a George Lucas issue.
Yeah, they've got to find some way of working if they're going to keep this type of, I guess, this indie character or this indie franchise alive somehow. They've got to find another way of. They've got to find a way of working him out of it at this point. He's too old for this anymore. I'm sorry.
Or they can use the technology from Captain America to maybe graft his face onto a younger body.
Maybe smooth out some of those caverns in his face.
Yeah.
For the whole movie, that would be so much.
It'd be better than flying alien monkeys or whatever was in that last
Would you rather have Shia LaBeouf be the new?
Don't get me started.
No passing the torch to Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, please no. All right, the Oscar nods came out this week as well. Obviously and you guys, Oscars in February, is that right? Early February?
I believe
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're just going to go over the ones that were nominated for Best Picture. Obviously, a lot of ones to recognize. The Artist, also The Descendants, the movie The Help, as well as Brian's pick of 2011, Hugo is in there. Midnight in Paris, Moneyball, The Tree of Life, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, as well as War Horse. Now, which of those are surprises, and which of those were you guys pretty much expecting? Obviously, Hugo.
Well, I'm surprised Incredibly Loud is in there. I've heard nothing but shit about that movie.
I haven't heard it too much good either.
How many of these have we seen?
Well, that's just it. I mean, I don't think The Artist. I don't even think has been released yet. But it's that it's that art. It's that one. It's that artsy flick that nobody's seen, but we're going to cram it down your throats anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Movie.
Silent black and white movie. Awesome.
I've seen The Help. That's the only one.
I saw Moneyball, which was really a well done movie. It's just best movie of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
No, it's got Jonah Hill in it. It won't win best movie of the year.
Yeah,
and it's not so much a knock on Jonah Hill, but he's not that quality of an actor to help a movie achieve that title.
What's interesting is that not one of these movies was on any of our top fives. Yeah,
Like Hugo.
Yeah, where's Fast
Oh,
Five?
except for Hugo. Where's Fast Five?
Now, like you said, Hugo was on mine, and out of those 8 or 9 movies that are out that I've seen, that would be my personal pick. But it'll be The Artist, The Descendants, or The Help that ends up winning it.
Yeah,
that's
just because of its social stigma or because of its artistic nature.
Anytime you deal with race, homosexuality, or mentally challenged, that you automatically win the Oscar.
Yep, pretty much.
So you're saying if they ever made a movie about a gay black retarded fella, that would just fucking lock it?
Wasn't that called Radio?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, wow. Did I tell you guys I met the writer of Hugo at school? Yeah, he was Brian Selznick, the guy that wrote it. He was he did a more or less promoting his book because the movie was coming out, but he did a little symposium or whatever at my school. Got to meet him. I actually thought afterwards about asking him on the show for an interview.
Yeah.
Kind of kicking myself. That would have been kind of cool. So especially with as huge as that movie's turned out to be. So
the only non-Best Picture thing I want to mention, I was really surprised that Michael Parks didn't get nominated for Best Actor
for
Red State.
Oh, yeah, he was pretty awesome. I did finally see that. Me and Sean actually watched it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that too. I actually saw that recently too on you guys' raving recommendations, and you guys were spot on with it. So,
did you watch the alternate ending?
No,
I haven't seen that.
They did I guess it was the original ending that they did at Sundance, and it was that scene of him in the end at the cell. It was just way longer, and the credits rolled while he was still like going through all that. It was a little more eerie, but it just didn't work for a Hollywood film, I guess. But Kevin Smith just raved and loved it, and so he had to throw it on the DVD. But definitely worth checking out because that whole thing was improv.
Yeah.
Of Michael Parks. He mentioned it right before it. That like he just said, "Give me 7 minutes," and he went and ran with it. So a little fun tidbit there. So
cool.
Little piece of trivia at the end. The person yelling "Shut the fuck up" is Kevin Smith.
Yeah. I didn't know that until Sean pointed that out to me either, but that's kind of cool. So it's kind of funny. All right. I think a lot of us are big fans of Back to the Future. I know I am. And I guess Phil Hawkins is going to be taking on the helm of a new movie, not a Back to the Future sequel. Don't get excited. But apparently a movie based on a teenager who is obsessed with the Back to the Future series. It's called Great Scott. Not a whole lot of information, but man, this is the next best thing to a Back to the Future sequel in my eyes. I think I'm kind of excited about it. You guys feel the same way or no?
Didn't they already kind of do this with Fanboys and Star Wars?
Yeah, and Fanboys was more miss than hit, I think, but it was still fun to watch.
Yeah, that's what first came to my mind was Fanboys, and then maybe, I don't know, kind of like a King of Kong type feel. I just hope it doesn't turn into something like that.
King of Kong, the documentary?
Yeah, about the video game.
No, this is supposed to be an actual like narrative, isn't it? Not a documentary. It's just.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. It was a documentary about some pathetic kid, but
oh, maybe I'm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it's not. No, but it's not. From what I understand, it's a fiction movie.
Yeah, so
it like Fanboy. And that's what I'm curious about. Is it going to be kind of hokey, slapsticky, so to speak, kind of like Fanboys, or is it going to be kind of a pathetic documentary style, kind of like Trekkies? But that was really more of a documentary about really sad Star Trek fans. But
I hope it's the former.
I kind of liked Trekkies in a sad sort of way.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like watching, Jersey Shore. You just go, oh God, these people are pathetic, but I can't stop watching.
Yeah, but you don't feel dumber watching Trekkies.
Yeah,
this is true.
T-shirt time.
I do feel my virginity returning as I watch it, though.
All right, so we got 3 trailers that are coming out on the horizon here. The first one is Detachment. This is Adrian Brody, and I neglected to write down his name, but the director of The Hurt Locker. Basically, it's a movie about a teacher in a rough environment. It looks like the plot seems kind of out there, but I'm interested because I'm obviously going to be a teacher in a year or so. So I think it looks really interesting. It looks very powerful. What do you think, Sean? You have any interest?
No, not at all. Is Michelle Pfeiffer going to be in it just to bring back some old school, I'm a teacher in the hood? No.
Little Dangerous Minds action.
Right. No, it's not going to happen.
Cameos by her and
maybe Robin Williams.
Yeah.
With like Dead Poets Society? Is there you go?
Little Captain, my Captain.
Morgan Freeman makes an appearance.
What's his name? Alonzo? The guy who played Adama on the new Battlestar Galactica.
Edward James Olmos?
Almost. Didn't he do a movie where he was one of those inspirational teachers?
Yep. And just so you know, he is actually following us on the Hollywood Outsider Twitter account.
Yeah.
Just so
very
you know.
Nice.
That's kind of cool. Well, thanks for shouting out for him. Appreciate that little endorsement, Edward James Olmos. What about you, Brian? Do you have any interest in this one?
A little bit. I know a lot of disgruntled and kind of depressed teachers, who feel kind of underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there's that connection, but there's a pretty good supporting cast with that Christina Hendricks, who's hot, William Peterson, who you remember from CSI.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Blake Nelson, who's really kind of an underrated actor. He was the kind of the wormy looking guy in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out where I knew him from.
Yeah, he was also in The Incredible Hulk. He played the guy who, I guess...
Evil scientist and the almost updated Hulk, yeah.
So there's, like I say, and it was actually not to, I hate to pull a Justin here, but it's actually produced by the producer of, or I guess one of the main producers for The Hurt Locker, but it's actually directed by the person who directed American History X.
Oh, okay.
Which is
even
an
better.
equally good, which is an equally great movie. So
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in so long. Edward Norton in that with a swastika on his chest. Just
Curb Stomp.
yeah,
crap out of
Curb
me. Yeah.
Stomp. Yeah. God.
Wow. All right. What about Resident Evil Retribution? I know that was kind of a guilty pleasure for you guys.
It looks fun.
Yeah,
It looks so fun.
It does.
It looks shitty.
Like
It looks terrible, but it looks fun.
I just can't figure out how is there all of a sudden like a civilization again and flying shit. But I guess they'll explain it in the movie. But
Yeah, because didn't they kind of kill all that off in the last one? Like,
it seemed like everything was dead.
yeah.
It's Hollywood. You can bring up. I mean, she's been what was it in the last one or the one before? Alice was cloned like 1,000 times or something. So
The story makes no sense, so let's not go into it.
Right.
Looking for a tight narrative
Well-
because it's none to be had.
I know I'm kind of in the minority, but I don't have a whole lot of interest in this. I mean, like you said, it looks kind of fun from an action standpoint, but I don't know. Outside of the characters, this series just seems to have gone completely off the rails from what I loved about the video game series. I mean, this one seems a little closer to the market. It's got a little bit of that Resident Evil 2 feel with the city and that kind of thing, and some of the characters look really close. But I just feel like if I went and saw it, I'd go in and come out disappointed. I don't know. Again, I'm in the minority, so. But
It's
Yeah,
a movie
you-
you watch purely for the spectacle.
yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
And I'm sorry, Mila Jovovich looks amazingly good in these films.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
What film does she look bad in?
That's true. It's hard to find a bad-looking Mila Jovovich.
And real quick, do you guys watch Hawaii Five-0?
I do not, but
No.
I know Aaron.
All
I
right.
should, but no.
Well, they've introduced a character of, I don't know, this season, and her name is Lauren German, and she's probably been in the last 8 or 9 episodes, I guess, by now, maybe a little bit more. But to this day, she still looks exactly like Mila Jovovich.
Really?
Talks like her, facial expressions, the kind of pursed lips that just, she got this real intense look on her face, exactly like her. Just whatever the next episode is, just turn it on and watch it for a few minutes, and you'll see what I mean.
I'll definitely check that out. Another one that's coming out in the near future is Jeff Who Lives at Home. This is Jason Segel and Ed Helms from Hangover fame. This one is two comedic actors coming in doing a little dramatic role where comedy is not on the forefront but still there. I don't know. Looks like a heartwarming movie a little bit. It seems pretty good to me. What do you guys think? Is this when you guys want to run out and see, or is this a DVD?
Oh, cable.
Cable. Wow.
Yeah, I like Jason Segel, but it's definitely nothing I need to go to the theater and spend $15-20 on.
There's a lot of good cast in that too. Outside of the two of them, it seemed like a pretty good cast. But
Yeah, but it leans towards dramedy, which I don't know. Definitely, like everybody says, not theater worthy.
Yeah, it's just one of those that I don't think is going to translate well on the big screen, but I think it'll be really good on on cable or even as a rental. But it looks like he's kind of reprising his "I Love You, Man" role, but in a kind of a darker, maybe more pathetic version of it.
yeah, I don't know if I want to see Jason Segel cry for real, where he's not playing Marshall from How I Met Your Mother. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm with you guys. I'm not sure I'll run out to the theater to see it, but I'm such a big Jason Segel fan, especially after the Muppet movie. Like, just seeing his passion and that kind of thing. I don't know. I like the guy a lot. So,
Yep.
All right. So that's what's on the horizon. We're gonna move on to
Stump the Hoe.
Stump the Hoe. Each week we participate in a Stump the Hoe trivia game where one of our guests brings to the table a trivia question in an attempt to stump the hoes. As always, hoe stands for Hollywood outsider, not actual prostitutes. Sorry, Sean. The rules for the four of us go that there's no Googling until we reveal the answer at the end of the show. And this week, Justin is up to the challenge. So bring it, brother.
All right. Unfortunately, this week I was not able to find a way to make this question have a multiple choice answer without the multiple choices just being completely obvious.
All right.
So I'm going to have to forego that format I apologize.
All right.
Coming up, I'm going to be reviewing Underworld Awakening. But way back when the first movie was in development, the producers of Underworld were sued by a game company because the game company felt like the movie ripped off their intellectual property. What was the name of that game company? And I will accept, though, half points if all you can come up with is the name of the game that they put out, either game they put out that they said that IP was ripped off for Underworld. It's not that hard, but you kind of have to either follow the news or be aware of game properties. And Scott, this game company has made video games, so you should still be aware.
I'm going to feel really bad if I get this wrong. I probably will. So this is a video game that was in existence before the first Underworld game came out. And
it originally came out as a RPG in book form. They have made video game forms of it.
Okay.
But it was out before Underworld, and they sued unsuccessfully because they felt like their game property had been stolen to make this movie.
I'll jump out there.
All right.
I don't know the maker of the game, but the game that first came to mind was Castlevania.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Namco or Tecmo or whatever, Nintendo, some Japanese company.
Who does make Castlevania? Jalico?
Capcom?
Is it Capcom?
I don't know.
I think it's Capcom, but shit, no.
Maybe.
Wrong podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't bring this up, so Aaron can't yell at me when this comes up. Justin brought up a video game.
But for the answer, tune into Scott's podcast, the official Thread podcast.
Thanks for the plug, man. Shawnee, you got any ideas? What do you think?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? Oh, boy. I have no idea either. I was going to say Blood Rain.
Okay, that's a fair answer.
That was my first guess, but I honestly can't remember the name of the company. THQ?
That was Majesco,
which means I'm wrong. So, but that was going to be my initial guess, and so we'll find out what that answer is. We are going to do that. The format for the Stump the Hoe question a little different this year, so we're going to give everybody the rest of the podcast to kind of stew on that one. Again, no Googling, no looking up. If you genuinely come up with the answer out of your head, that's good, but Justin's going to give us the answer at the end of the show before we wrap up. So with that, we're going to move on to the big screen where we talk about movies that we've seen this week. I know Justin is going to give us a review of Underworld Awakening, and then Sean and I both saw Haywire and The Grey. We're going to give you guys a rundown on that too. So go ahead, Justin. Tell us about Underworld now that we've moved right off from your question that I got wrong.
Well, Underworld, when you think of the Underworld films, for those who've seen them, I don't think the notion of, wow, there's way too much story in that movie ever really comes to mind. Because usually the stories are kind of threadbare and there's just enough there to hang, all the shooting and the action on. Story is usually just almost a secondary consideration.
It's almost in there by accident.
Almost. Strangely enough, though, with Underworld Awakening, I felt like there was way too much story that they tried to cram into this movie. And the opening, I'd have to say, opening 10 minutes or so are really just preamble talking about what happened after the second film, because of course the third film was a prequel. What happened after the second film and humanity learning about the Lycans and the vampires, waging this war to kill them all off, and how that drove these creatures kind of back into the shadows and underground. And of course, during this battle, Selena, who Kate Beckinsale plays, Selene, her character, and I don't remember the name of the guy that she fell in love with, but he was played by Speedman.
Michael Corvus.
Anyway, huh?
Michael
Corvus, exactly. They give a lot of these bullet points to you really, really fast. All the shooting is done really, really quick. And so you spend like 10 or 15 minutes getting just bam, 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 bam. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. and then it kind of stops for a little while, and then it picks up again. But when it picks up, I really felt like everything you guys just rushed through could have been a really cool film.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been almost a 28 days later kind of, or 28 weeks later kind of story where, you're really showing what happens to, what happens when two warring factions are suddenly set upon by an even greater danger.
Mm-hmm.
Do you join together? Do you just forget your animosities and go your separate ways? What are all the things that happen? Well, they truncate that all down into 10 or 15 minutes. And then they move on with a story that, while it's okay, I didn't feel like it was really nearly as interesting as all the stuff they glossed over. And so I really wish, instead of using all that stuff as preamble to a story that was kind of average at best, they would have expanded on that and really let all that stuff be its own film. It looks gorgeous. Kay Beckinsale, of course, looks phenomenal in the role. She always does. And any opportunity I have to see her in tight black leather, I'm going to take her latex. The special effects look fine. All in all, if I had to rate it out of 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it a 6, maybe a 5. I'd probably go 5, $5.50.
Okay.
It's an okay movie. It could have been a lot better. I like some of the things that they did with the story, but I really think they could have made there's near the end of the film, you get a twist. And I feel like that twist would have been more powerful if we had seen a lot of the things that occurred before this movie really before its story started. In all of that preamble, they could have set the stuff up better. So it was okay. I still think the first one was the best of them all. The second one's fine. Third one I thought was really fairly weak. So this takes things back up, but you're coming up from a 3. So it's not a hard bar to clear.
But her ass is good in leather?
Oh, God, does she look good. She looks so tasty. She's worth watching, but, that if it was just the camera following her ass the entire movie, I'd probably give it an 8 or a 9.
Brian, you said something you wanted to add?
Yeah, is Michael Sheen, is he in it? He played one of the Lycans.
No, unfortunately, he's nowhere to be seen. There's a lot of characters that I think could have been in this that they're not. And Speedman, I'm not even sure if he was actually in it or if they just computer graphicked his face from the earlier films onto whoever played his role for all of about 5 seconds. So it almost feels like they're distancing themselves somewhat from the earlier films. Maybe the actors just didn't want to be in it. I don't know. It's definitely left open, though, for a sequel. The story is not finished. There's more they can do. I think for the money they made, they probably will come back to it, and so we'll see.
All right. So Justin McCumber's review of Underworld.
Wait till it comes out on video. Awakening.
Underworld Awakening. Wait for video on that one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's $5.50. That's my rating, but you're just as well off waiting till it hits video and enjoying it in the comfort of your home, where you can pause it at whatever moments you find appropriate.
Nice. All right. Thank you for that, Justin. We'll move on to a movie that Sean and I saw over the weekend, which was Haywire. This is a Steven Soderbergh movie. It tells the story of Mallory Kane, and she's played by MMA fighter Gina Carano. Carano. Did I mispronounce it? Thank you. Who Sean informed me was one of the American Gladiators. I didn't know that.
Crush. Yep.
Hot.
That's pretty cool. I did not know that. So, anyway, she is a gorgeous. She really is. But in this, she plays a freelance covert operative, and she, along with some other members of her team, are hired to perform jobs that governments can't authorize. That kind of thing. Kind of be swept under the rug. And one of these missions goes haywire. See what I did there?
Ooh.
Nothing? All right. Anyway, one of the missions goes wrong, and Mallory's double-crossed and basically marked for death across the world. And the movie follows her attempts to escape while taking revenge and protecting her father, who's back home. So, all this, I know the story's not real original. it does succeed in having that distinct Soderbergh flavor, if that makes sense. You guys are, his movies just have a certain tone to them. You can kind of feel it. There's a pretty impressive cast too, between Michael Douglas, Ewan McGregor, Antonio Banderas, and Michael Fassbender, amongst others. There's a serious mood evident throughout the movie, though, like I said, and regardless of what the trailer portrays, this isn't a summer action flick like it looks like. The action sequences are incredibly impressive, but they're somewhat sparse between a lot of moody dialogue, in my opinion. But those action sequences are fantastic to watch. The choreography is phenomenal. Just the fact that fights break out in completely unexpected places and kind of blow you away with how cleverly they're put together is just awesome. You really kind of almost feel every punch and kick from her or at her in this movie. Everything just feels very solid, and I winced on more than one occasion in a lot of those fight scenes. So, Sean, you saw this as well. What did you think? Did you like it a lot as well? Or?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Had a very deep tone to it. I thought the action sequences were incredibly concise and tight, and you felt every blow. I mean, just it seemed ultra realistic from a standpoint of, I think she just punched that guy for real.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was the movie was great. Scott and I were a little distracted by people behind us.
Oh God!
Talking through like these stereotypical, "Oh no, she didn't" type talking
Patrons?
behind us. Oh God!
Yeah.
And there was all about 12 people in the theater, so that made it even worse.
Yeah, Sean parked us in front of the one couple that talked through the entire movie. But I like what you said about the fights being, what was the word you used to describe it?
Concise.
Concise, because they really were. There was no fluff. Like everything that happened in the fights was important to that particular scene. There was no dialogue between the fights. It was just we know what's up. We're gonna fight each other right now, and it was cool.
Yeah, there was no wasted movements. Just seemed
and
ultra realistic.
Yeah, and some of the like up the wall kind of goofy stuff wasn't goofy. Like it felt like okay, it wasn't like Matrix-esque. It was like she was really dodging what was going on there. And there were some hits. There was a scene where she was on the roof. You remember what I'm talking about, Sean?
Yeah.
Where like we both like did one of those, and it was you really felt the pain. But I did have some gripes with this movie though too. While some of the acting was great, there was some that was not so great. Ewan McGregor, for instance. Number one, what the hell is up with his hair? That has got to be. I'm not that guy that like notices this stuff normally, but Ewan McGregor's hair looked ridiculously terrible. Like that's all I could look at was his bad haircut. It was like a bowl haircut on the sides, but it stuck up straight. I don't know. It was bad, but Ewan McGregor without is he Irish or is he
Scottish?
With Ewan McGregor doing a non-Scottish accent sounds terrible. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
in
bad.
any movie he's ever done that, it's sucked.
Oh, it's bad, and his acting just seemed really flat because I was so distracted by the poor American accent. But Gina Carano looks amazing, but I don't buy her dialogue. I don't know. Her dialogue felt like it was very forced to be I'm a badass. But I know Sean kind of disagreed with me on this one.
Yeah, I think she was just playing it serious because the character is ultra serious. So I don't know. It could seem like it could be forced, but I didn't think so.
I'd heard that her voice was overdubbed through the entire film by someone else. Do you know if that's true or not?
I have no idea. That's the first I've heard anything about that.
I'd heard it mentioned in a review of the film. I have not checked to see if that's actually true or not.
I'll have to check into that, but that'd be a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, you would notice it more in the movie. I don't think that was true.
We're not talking about overdubbing Aunt Beru for a few scenes.
All right.
So what would you give it out of 10 $10?
Sean?
7.
7. I said 6. And the only reason I gave it lower than that is because a big factor for me in movies is rewatchability. This is a really good movie that I'll probably never watch again. Like it was really well done.
Okay.
I just don't have a desire to see it again, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
So that's Haywire. Sean gives it a flat 7, and I give it a flat 6 out of $10. And with that, we'll move on to the last movie we're going to review this week, which is Liam Neeson's The Grey. Well, not Liam Neeson's, he didn't make it, but prominent actor in it, The Grey. So Sean, tell us a little bit about that.
So how did you see this? Because I thought it's not even supposed to come out till this weekend.
Oh yeah, you're right. I actually, thank you for bringing that up. I actually got invited to go to a pre-screening of it here in town. So, got to go to the theater. Only one showing last night. Doesn't come out till Friday.
Cool.
Got a chance
This is
to see
actually
it,
a review before the movie comes
Yeah,
out.
this is actually a preview. So, and I got to say, I haven't been to a pre-screening since 30 minutes or less. You know my favorite part about going to see a pre-screening next to I get to see a movie before everybody else?
No previews.
No previews. You sit down in your theater. They do the little please shut up during the movie speech, and then it goes right into the logo and the movie starts. And I never realized how much I dislike seeing the trailers at the beginning of the movie. I just want to sit down and watch the movie. I don't know. Would you guys
No, I love the trailers. Because I'm real anal when you get together with a couple of people and you say, hey, look, let's meet at the movies at 7:00, and they're late, and I feel like I'm going to miss the previews. I start getting bitchy.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Well, considering we just seen Haywire on Friday or Saturday, whenever we saw it, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have seen any new trailers.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was kind of nice to be in and out, not an extra.
Yeah. That being
20
said, it would be
minutes.
kind of neat just to sit down and when the screen comes on, it's the actual movie.
Yeah.
So,
It was cool. And I'm with you. I get bitchy too when I miss the beginning of the trailers, but I'm more for my seat. I'm more worried about getting stuck in those front 2 rows or anything. And, I like to have something to talk about too. Like, did you see that trailer? But we watch so many trailers outside of the theater anyway. I don't know. I'm not missing out too much. With the age of YouTube, I can go see any trailer I want to. So
that's cool.
anyway, with that, let's go on to Sean. Give us a brief synopsis of The Grey. What was it about?
The Grey is about a group of Alaskan oil drilling team that is on their way back from the deep Arctic in Alaska, and their plane goes down in the wild. It's a story of the few who survive trying to find civilization, and there ends up being a pack of wolves that end up kind of hunting them down because they're on their territory, and it's a tale of how they try and survive through that, and somewhat of maybe finding your faith, if not finding your faith. And Liam Neeson plays a Liam Neeson type character who is pretty badass throughout the whole movie, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing really more to say about how the movie flows, but I have never felt a movie make me feel the environment so much. At one point, I almost reached back for my coat to put it on because the visuals and the sound, which the sound is actually pretty amazing in this movie, made me feel cold. There's a scene where you see the aftermath of the wreckage and that there's utterly nothing around them but a big windswept nothingness of snow, and the wind's blowing, and you actually start to feel cold.
Yeah. I swear they were cranking the AC in that theater because I seriously felt so cold and so desolate.
Yeah.
Like you just felt utter despair. Remember, and this sounds like a weird analogy, but remember that movie Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith? One of the most depressing movies of a couple
I try
years
not
ago.
to.
Oh, you don't like it?
Try to block it out of my memory.
Oh, really? Well, that was a movie I didn't hate it apparently as much as you guys did, but that movie was a movie that you kept waiting for something good to happen, and it just never does.
Never does.
And I kind of got that same vibe in this. Like these guys just don't catch a break. Like it's just bad shit just keeps happening to them over and over and over again. And by the end of the movie, and I won't spoil anything, but you just get this sense from everybody that they're just like on the verge of giving up. And it's just it was really, really gave you that unsettling, desolate, we're effed feeling throughout the whole movie. So, I think one of the strong points of this movie was the acting. There was a couple marquee actors, obviously Liam Neeson, and is it Dermot Mulroney? Did I say that right?
Mulroney, yeah.
He was really good. The guy from Across the Universe, his name escapes me right now. Rarely do you see a movie, and maybe the movie gets lucky in that there's not too many actors in the movie. You know, there's a smaller group of them, no more than 10 at a time once one thing starts going down. But there's not a bad actor in this movie. There's not a bad performance, I should say.
No, even the wolves give a good performance.
Gollum wasn't in it, or was it Andy Serkis? Did he do any of the wolves? No, like every performance felt real. It didn't feel like anybody was acting. I don't think it felt very like you kind of felt in their world a little bit, and they were sharing stories about being back home, and I thought it was really well done.
Very, very believable.
Yeah, very believable. Oh, and
stay after the credits.
Yeah, stay after the credits. Just a FYI, I wasn't
Good
going
tip.
to until Sean told me to. So
I just had a feeling.
Yeah.
The end is an appropriate ending, and you just get the sense there's a little more to be seen here. So let's just stay. And
it's nothing mind blowing or anything, but definitely do stick it out and just kind of see what they have to show you at the end. So, all right. So that how many dollars out of 10 are you giving this one, Sean?
9.
9.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. I was giving it a 7. I thought it was really good. I think I enjoyed it a lot more than, or I think I enjoyed it a little more than Haywire, but it kind of falls into the same category of I probably won't watch it again. I like sandy beaches instead of desolate Alaskan wastelands. So
Wilson.
All right. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Just a real quick mention. Last week episode, we did talk about the releases, which were, like we mentioned, The Gray already, but also out there is Man on a Ledge and One for the Money. So be sure to check those out as well. Coming attractions this weekend, we got several big attractions that are going to be hitting the big screen. But the first one I got listed here is Chronicle. We talked about this one, I think, several weeks ago, back when this was like not even an official trailer, but we just saw kind of like a real fuzzy one or something, and we're kind of interested. I'm stoked about this movie, Chronicle. Are you guys in the same boat as me, or?
Oh yeah. This looks good.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't disappoint. I hope there's good character development, not just about superpowers, that kind of thing. But I don't know, the scene in the trailer where the guy is sitting cross-legged and crushing the car by clenching his fist just looks so awesome to me. The look on his face, like he's just got pure hatred. I don't know. I'm just excited to see where that story goes. So
as long as there's not too much shaky cam.
Yeah,
Amen.
Yeah. I like that found footage kind of stuff, but I'm with you. After I don't want another Cloverfield as much as I like that movie, and I definitely don't want Bourne Ultimatum. But also coming out this week, The Woman in Black, which we talked a little bit about again several weeks ago. Are you guys excited for this one?
You know what kills this movie for me? The prospect that Daniel Radcliffe is the actor.
Yeah.
I mean, is he going to pull out his magic wand? He's so typecast that maybe he'll break free. Maybe it'll be a good movie, but this will do it. You know, this will tell me if he's going to be good in anything else.
What about you, Justin? You're the scary movie guy. What do you think?
I started off lukewarm on it, and I think I started off lukewarm for the same reason Sean just mentioned. It's can I see past Harry Potter to see him in something else? And I realized that I don't want to make an actor have to do extra work just because I might have a problem.
Right.
Or it's my issue, not his. And so once I kind of recognize that this isn't on him, it's on me, I kind of warmed to it more, and I've liked what I've seen of the commercials and the trailers for it. The only thing I hate is lately in the movies, when I go see them, there's this, when they're showing their commercials and whatnot, there have been these moments where they'll show, it's almost like a found footage thing, and they'll show the camera, you, the audience, are now in the movie, and I've seen it on 2 different films, and maybe it's only the theater that I go to, but the camera will kind of pan around, and it kind of looks like the theater you're in, but then like it pauses on somebody, and then a woman in black suddenly appears and
That is
screams, and
genuinely creepy.
It's just creepy the first time. Once that joke, or once you know what's going to happen, it's incredibly annoying because that scream is so loud, and you know it's coming, so you're just kind of waiting for it to be over with. And I fucking hate those kinds of short, little, annoying stunts that they try and pull. But that said, I am kind of excited to see it. I'm curious how it'll go over. I'd like to see Daniel Radcliffe graduate from Harry Potter into something more.
I'll bet you it's in his contract somewhere that he can never wear glasses again in any film.
No, but apparently he can grow the most ridiculous sideburns ever.
Yeah,
but that's the period.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Justin. I was not really interested. Just looking at another creepy movie, but more I see of it, it looks creepy in a very interesting way. Brian, any interest on your end?
Yeah, I don't have a problem separating him from the Harry Potter franchise. It's done. It's over. We know he's not going to be doing any more unless some big miracle happens. Ooh. But anyway.
Speaking of big miracles.
Yeah, speaking of big miracle.
Big Miracle is the other movie that's coming out this weekend, starring John Krasinski. This is the one where they are finding a whale trapped in the ice, and they're trying to basically break the ice free to get it through.
It's 3 whales.
Is it 3 whales? You
Yeah.
can tell I'm very interested in this movie. I don't know. This is a movie for bunny huggers. Kaz
They're
cried.
not replacing their tails with.
I was going to say, Kaz cried
prosthetics.
at.
I'm not interested.
Kaz cried at Dolphin Tail, so he'll probably be all over this one too. But
It's a sweet looking movie, but with these other two out, with Chronicle and The Woman in Black kind of clamoring for my money and my time, I'll go see those before I see Big Miracle.
yeah, you'll be surprised though how a lot of people out there just aren't interested in anything supernatural. So this will be the movie for them this weekend. But
Yeah, all the people who saw Courageous will go see Big Miracle.
oh wow. All right, with that we're gonna move on to the Hollywood Outsider Weekly. What's this movie quote? Last week we played a little snippet of a movie, and the idea was to get some feedback from you listeners out there to see if you could guess what the movie was. Unfortunately, I didn't. Aaron didn't forward me any emails from anybody, but Sean told me as he came down the stairs this morning, because he listened to the podcast on the way over from work today. He listened to last week, and he knew what the movie was. So what was that movie, Sean?
Spies Like Us.
He said he knew it within like 2 seconds. Of the clip
like 2 seconds. Doctor. That's it. I know the movie.
Apparently, I need to get on and see that one. So.
Scott hasn't even seen the movie.
I haven't.
Oh, son.
It's on Netflix, Instant Stream. It's probably free on the web somewhere. I mean, this is a classic movie.
I'm gonna have to add that one to my list. So, the point here with this, like we said, tell us. Want to get some feedback from you guys and think guess what the movie is. We're gonna go ahead and play another clip here in just 1 second, and you got a lot of different outlets that you can get a hold of us at. Hollywood Outsider has a Facebook, which is facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. There's also a Twitter feed, which is H_outsider, or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. We'll share what this film is next week and give you an answer, but right now we're going to go ahead and hear that clip.
Here we go. AK-47, the very best there is. When you absolutely, positively got to kill every motherfucker in the room, except no substitutes.
All right, so if you know what movie that clip was from, be sure to get a hold of us, and we'll be sure to read your answer off on the air next week. In the meantime, we're going to go over to our Ho answer. So, Justin, give us your question one more time, and we'll try to see if we have an answer for you.
All right, back when the first Underworld film was first being made, they were sued by a games manufacturer because the game manufacturer felt like their IP had been infringed upon by the makers of Underworld. What game company was the company to sue them and sue them unsuccessfully?
And Brian, what was your answer? Did you have one?
He said Castlevania.
Yeah, Castlevania by Namco or something like that.
I said Blood Rain,
Capcom.
which I know is wrong, but and Sean didn't have an answer.
I have no idea.
Lame.
So
I'm sorry. I'm not on the game podcast.
when they're not when they're not multiple choice, it's difficult, man. So what was the actual answer?
Sorry about that. Well, the actual answer is White Wolf Publishing. Probably their most famous game franchise is Vampire the Masquerade.
I've not played that.
And there's several there are several video games. I know there's Vampire the Masquerade Redemption.
What platform is this on, Justin?
Well, the original Vampire the Masquerade was, I know a lot of people LARPed it, live action role playing, but it did come out in a book form. There are also lots of Vampire the Masquerade as well as Werewolf the Apocalypse novels. But then the games transitioned over somewhat into the video game sphere. The Hunter games, you remember those, Scott? The Hunter the Reckoning?
Yes.
And Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer, those are both also White Wolf Publishing games from the Vampire the Masquerade universe of games.
Okay.
But anyway, they sued to have the film stopped because they felt like Underworld was borrowing far too heavily from Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse, and they were not successful.
Very interesting. Well, we better move on before I get verbally bitch slapped from Aaron for talking about too much video games on his movie podcast. But
This
is the last time you drop this bus, man.
With that, we're going to move on.
Your license has been revoked.
We're going to move on to the couch where we talk about TV news as well as things that we've been watching from the couch on Blu-ray or DVD. So first news story we got here. Aaron thought this was funny. I don't know. William Shatner's quote-unquote character from the Priceline.com TV commercials has apparently been killed off. I didn't even know characters in commercials could be killed off. Did you?
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's great. He got killed by the gnome, I heard.
But then... Travelocity gnome? That would have been funny. I don't know. Do you guys see this being a recurring thing, like characters in commercials?
I think it's brilliant. I just found it hard to believe that this ad with with William Shatner has been alive for 14 years.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
14 years it's been?
14 years.
Good Lord. Wow, I did not know that.
I didn't think the interweb was invented back then.
Here's the weird thing. They're talking about that he's still in contract deals with Priceline, so they've got to resurrect him somehow. I mean, I don't know. I think it's funny.
Maybe he'll come back in some kind of Ben Kenobi-esque glowing form.
Maybe. Because didn't he have a bunch of proteges in the other commercials?
Mm-hmm.
For how
they've introduced a few other characters and stuff, but oh well.
A good commercial is such a beautiful thing. And there's so few of them.
Yeah. Especially, there's so much garbage out there now. Oh, man. Just stuff that I look at and go, really? I don't know.
When you don't even know what the commercial was about?
Yeah.
What product were you selling?
I recently posted on my Facebook wall a YouTube video of that old "Was it?" commercial.
Yeah, I
They're
saw
so
that.
dumb. But yeah, I can't not laugh. I still laugh now. I'm laughing just thinking about it.
Well, and with as boring as this year's Super Bowl is going to be as far as the game goes, I'll probably be watching more commercials this year than I will a game.
Well, movie trailers are usually what draw me lately, but I can't think of a single movie trailer that I'm anticipating seeing. Is the Avengers going to have one? Because I don't know any movies that are going to be.
I'll bet you the Hunger Games will be.
I bet you the Hunger Games.
Because I haven't seen any Hunger Games on TV at all. Like, you have to YouTube for that, so I think that'll be all over the place. Maybe Avengers. I'll bet you Avengers would be, but what else is... I can't even think of what else is big this summer.
This summer? Yeah, I don't know.
But, we'll see what happens, so... all right, so moving on to Modern Family, a show that I apparently have to watch because it's the funniest thing on television right now. On the January 18th episode, a 2-year-old on the show, Lily, learned her first 4-letter word. Now, did you guys see this episode?
I did. I think I'm pretty much the only one here that watches it. I don't know about Sean. But
now, did she actually say it?
She actually, well, they
beep it out.
They bleeped it and they fuzzied her face whenever she said it. But she says it like 5-6 times in the show.
Oh, really?
And it's fucking hilarious because it's what they did with it just totally impressed me. Where one of her parents is a gay couple, and one of them gets, of course, the typical reaction, like, oh my God, don't say that, and freaks out. And the other one can't stop laughing. So every time she drops the F-bomb, he runs out of the room chuckling. And what they do throughout the episode is anybody who hears it, and there's even a wedding where she drops it, everybody just erupts in laughter. So everybody except for the one dad thinks it's hilarious.
That's funny.
So it was really cool how they did that.
Yeah, I watch it on occasion, and I did happen to catch this episode, and it was hilarious.
And it's kind of funny how we've come as far as vulgarity, because if you look at TV, a long time ago, you couldn't get away with anything. And even stuff off of cable, I mean, on FX, they say shit all the time. I mean, regular cable.
After 10
I think
o'clock, there's
the big problem they had, from what I've read, is that it was a child saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, I don't have children, but I know a lot of parents who have children, and they hate to leave them with me because I know this is going to shock you guys. I have a bit of a filthy mouth.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
I fucking do. Unfortunately, I also have a very hard time monitoring and censoring my cursing. So anytime I'm around children, I'm constantly cussing. I feel bad, but I do it, and it happens. So many parents tell me their kids learn these words. They say them at the worst moment. This shit happens. A 2-year-old is going to hear fuck, and they're going to say it. So to have a TV show, which is already kind of edgy, to somehow say that what they're putting on the air is somehow wrong, it's life, people. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah. It's because it's on TV, I don't know.
And in reality, it's funny.
It is funny.
Absolutely.
I got a 2-year-old niece who says poop, and I crack up laughing. So.
And unfortunately, if I had children, they would sound like Dice Clay or something. So it's probably best that I don't.
Let me teach you the nursery rhyme, little Macumber.
Oh, yeah. Little Hickory Dickory Dock.
All right, so Divorce Court and Judge Judy, or apparently Judge Alex, I'm not sure about that, but are renewed their show through 2014. Does anybody watch these shows anymore?
Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Somebody's watching these shows because these judge women, most of them are women now. They're like some of the highest paid women in entertainment.
Well,
at least
Alex is
on
a
TV.
guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Judge Alex is a guy, but Judge Judy and I don't know whoever. There's like four of them on. So,
but like a year ago, maybe 2 years. It was fairly recent. But Judge Judy was the second highest paid woman in television, only behind Oprah.
That's insane. There's a lot of retired senior citizens at home watching TV during daytime.
Hey, now my wife actually really likes to watch Judge Judy, and I'll watch it on occasion with her. I've seen some of these other court shows, during the day as I'm eating lunch and just looking for something to watch, and I never can watch them for more than about 2 minutes. Mainly because they're not about, not to say that Judge Judy's show is about the law, but at least Judge Judy takes what she does seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to maintain order and decorum in her courtroom, quote unquote courtroom, which I kind of appreciate, especially when I watch these other shows where they basically just want to get the worst examples of every ethnic group, have them yell at each other across the courtroom. These judges let them say whatever they want, and then they like to step in at the end with their little Jerry Springer moment. Y'all shouldn't say this and blah blah blah. And it annoys me that these people are allowed to kind of act however they do. At least on Judge Judy, she tries to make it seem halfway like this might be what it's actually like in a court. So I like her, but the rest of them I don't care for. But they're incredibly cheap to produce, and loads of people love watching them. So these shows will probably continue until we are all long dead.
I wonder if people realize those are actual real cases being heard by. I mean, they are real judges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one girl went missing just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's
after
true.
Something with some kind of dispute with an ex-boyfriend or husband or something like that, and the day that it aired, she went missing. She's been missing ever since.
All right, I think the internet deserves a round of applause for this next story. The Stop Online Piracy Act got dealt a blow by the American people. The internet just blew up, television blew up, social media, everything. Congress is officially pulling back on the act for the time being anyway. So kudos to everybody. I guess there's a lot of online petitions and everything like that, but apparently the MPAA is pissed. They're not too happy with this decision because they're the ones that apparently are getting screwed by a lot of piracy. Is that what the deal is?
That is the deal.
Well,
I actually am kind of appalled that the American people are mad at this because apparently we're becoming a country of thieves. I don't understand. Like, content costs as much as it does because of piracy, or it's a contributing factor, I should say. So, I just, if you were the owner of the content, you would be pissed as hell if somebody stole your stuff. So I just don't understand why people can't take that point of view.
Well, the issue with this isn't so much that we agree with you, but part of the problem is that this SOPA is not gonna is hitting the wrong, it's hurting the wrong people. And I think Justin, what's your point there, Justin?
Well, I've got 2 points. Number one, yeah, the big reason a lot of people had a problem with this law isn't because that they think piracy is fine. It's because it can be used in a malicious way by all sorts of people in the MPAA and other organizations. Say, for example, we post up a review. Okay, let's say the people who made The Devil Within listened to my review and they didn't like my review of it. And say on our website, as a part of the review, we post up a section of the movie, not the trailer, but some portion of it. They can say that we pirated their movie, and they can have the website taken down based on that statement and nothing more. And nobody, and the difficulty of having that turned over is incredible. But the only reason they really did it is because they didn't like the review. There are a lot of ways that this can be abused. Secondly, people who are going to pirate your movie or your TV show or your games, if they're going to pirate it and they're going to go through the difficulty of pirating it, they weren't going to buy it anyway. And a lot of people that I talk to that are in music, I do a lot of podcasting, I talk to a lot of writers. Almost universally, they all tell me, I don't care if you pirate my stuff, as long as you're consuming it and you're talking about it. Most of the people who are going to pirate it weren't going to buy it anyway, so I'm not losing a sale to you. If you didn't steal it, you weren't going to buy it anyway. So it is no harm, no foul for a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying everybody is like that. There are a lot of people who are just fucking lazy and cheap and don't want to pay for it. But those lazy, cheap people probably weren't going to pay full price for your stuff anyway. So I think there are better ways to address the issue of piracy than creating some kind of Mjolnir-sized internet ban hammer that they can just swing indiscriminately, and poor website hosting services and people who are bloggers have almost no means of getting these sorts of things handled and addressed to their favor. We don't have lobbyists, and we don't have people spending huge money in Washington to see to it that our grievances and that our voice is heard. We did do that though on the date when SOPA was supposed to go in, and I'm kind of surprised that we were actually listened to.
Brian, you got anything you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, what he said.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Sorry, I don't mean to get on a soapbox.
That's all right. All right, so that's TV news. Before we go on to DVDs and Blu-rays, did any of you guys catch the Alcatraz on TV?
Yeah,
No.
I watched it.
What'd you think?
I like the idea. It looked great. I thought I'm interested where they're going to take it. I think there was a bit too much. Unfortunately, with a show like this, you kind of have to go in a little exposition heavy, or you have to really have faith that you're going to be around long enough to dole it out slowly in a lot of shows, especially because isn't this on Fox?
Yes.
Yeah, Fox has the itchiest trigger finger I've ever seen when it comes to shows. So I'm pretty sure they felt like if we want to tell this story, we need to front load that first episode with a lot of exposition. And so there was a lot of it in there. But all in all, I liked it. I'm really curious to see the premise itself is interesting enough. I want to see where they take it. Did any of you guys watch it?
I did not.
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, if you do see it, there's a little Easter egg in the very beginning of it when a boat pulls up to Alcatraz with the new guards that are coming on for their shift. The name of the boat is Warden Kelvin.
Okay.
Do any of you guys know how that's a Easter egg?
I don't.
Kelvin was the name of J.J. Abrams' grandfather, and it was also the name of the ship that Captain Kirk's dad died on in the opening of Star Trek.
Oh, that's kind
In
of
fact,
cool.
Kelvin was also a character in Lost. So when I saw that Warden Kelvin, I knew what it was, and I went, "Oh, I know that."
You got a knack for those Easter eggs, Justin. I gotta say, there's one in the Mission Impossible movie we talked about that I never would have made a connection. So
Yeah, Outrigger.
yep, Outrigger. All right, with that we'll move on to DVDs and Blu-rays. Just real quick, there's actually quite a few releases coming out this week. There's In Time, that's the Justin Timberlake spend your time as money movie. Drive, which was Brian's favorite movie.
Fuck off.
Dreamhouse, The Thing, The Big Year, and Texas Killing Fields. So, Brian, what's your pick out of these?
I'm going to go with, and this is going to be a little bit of a shocker, but I'm going to go with Drive.
What?
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. You had me for a second. By the way, Justin, you owe me a Coke. Jinx.
I'm going to go with Texas Killing Fields,
All
just
right.
because I'm kind of curious about it. I haven't heard too much about it,
Okay.
good or bad, and it's just the kind of the one that piques my interest the most.
All right, cool. Sean, what about you? If you had to buy one, which one would you be picking up?
Real Steel? Oh, wait.
Oh, that's last week.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. None of them.
None of them. No interest at all?
None.
Really?
No.
If you had to pick one.
Oh, God. They're all horrible. I guess Texas Killing Fields, but
Texas Killing Fields.
They're
So
all
2
horrible.
for Texas Killing Fields. What about you, Justin?
I'd probably buy Dreamhouse, take a shit on it, burn it, and then I'd go back to Best Buy and pick up In Time.
Ah, okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing Drive. I've heard so much incredibly positive and incredibly negative. I'm hesitant to dive into those particular waters.
Yeah, and Drive is my pick actually, just because of more curiosity than anything. Like Justin said, there's just been too many good things and too many bad things said about it. I'm just curious. In Time was fun, but not a purchase for me. And I'd like to see The Thing just to compare, but
Yeah, I'll
Drive.
rent that one.
Yeah, Drive definitely has my interest peaked out of that lot there.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
So we'll go on to our flashback DVD next. Flashback is our segment where each week one of us brings to the table a little known or obscure film that they were a fan of and that they wanted to kind of bring to the table to get other people to watch. So this week, Sean, our guest, is going to be doing that. So Sean, take it away. You got 90 seconds to sell us your movie, man.
my movie's Resident Evil Degeneration. Just kind of a tie-in because we saw the Resident Evil trailer. This movie was released in 2008, and it's not really in correlation with the live-action Resident Evil. It's actually a CG version of the movie, and it absolutely looks gorgeous. I watched it on Blu-ray, and that's what I recommend you check it out on if you can. It's actually a story that spins off more of the video game than the live action, and we're following Claire Redfield, and she's at an airport for various reasons, and a plane crashes because one of the persons aboard had been infected with the T-virus. So the airport gets all shut down, and all the special response team comes in, and all sorts of haywire goes on, and you get a little backdrop on some of the story that ties into Resident Evil 2. There's a ton of action in the movie. It even gives more backdrop on Raccoon City, so you get to see the vantage point from that, and it also explains how another virus, the G virus strain, gets taken off. So it's actually a very beautiful movie, CG-wise. It has a good story and a lot of action. So I would recommend checking that out if you're a fan of Resident Evil.
Now, is that available on Netflix or Instant Play? Or?
Instant Play, you can get it on Netflix, regular by mail. I think it's on Amazon Prime, if I'm correct, too.
But you recommend it in definitely high definition?
High def, for sure.
I actually saw this one. I think we watched it together, didn't we? It was a long time ago, but it does look gorgeous, and to me it's a little bit more closer to home to the Resident Evil video game franchise. So I actually like this a little bit better than the movies, but again, I know I'm the minority as far as fans of the Resident Evil movies. So
I didn't care for it.
No? What didn't you like about it?
I thought it was a little slow.
Yeah.
Maybe I've been spoiled by Mila Jovovich and her husband, but I felt it was just a little bit too slow for my tastes.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I was really impressed by the CG at the time, though.
Oh, it looks good, yeah.
It looks really gorgeous. So
it's kind of like a one-legged, hot supermodel. Looks great, not too fast.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, so with that, we're going to go into our From the Outside In topic. This week, our topic is, what's your favorite guilty pleasure film and why? I think we all got our own different guilty pleasures. I'm going to start with Sean. Sean, tell us what's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is any comic book-based movie. Any superhero-like-ish movie. I like them, generally speaking, no matter what. Even Green Lantern. They always take me to a place back in my childhood when I was frantically reading comic books, so to see them up on the big screen is awesome to me. I don't really know of any that I didn't like. Maybe some like more than others, but that's my guilty pleasure.
All right. So comic book films. Justin, how about you?
Not to go off on another soapbox. Part of me hates the very idea of calling something a guilty pleasure because it somehow implies that I feel bad because I like something, and I know that maybe isn't how other people see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so
much that you feel bad. It's that you will feel bad after you tell somebody that because they're going to hammer you for.
But see, I
don't.
I love what I love, and I love it without reservation, and I don't hide it. The films that I enjoy that other people seem to hate, I don't mind saying so. So I don't feel guilty, but I understand the premise of this question. So I will answer it in that vein, though I did want to just plant my flag in the I don't feel guilty about shit. I am the honey badger of films. I like what I want, and I don't give a shit.
Honey badger don't give a shit.
But films that I like that other people really seem to hate, one of them would be Van Helsing. I don't know if it's because I am a massive Kate Beckinsale lover. I don't know if it's because I really like Hugh Jackman in damn near anything he does. I don't know if it's because I like Stephen Sommers and his films. But you add all three of those things together, and it creates a film that I really, every time I watch it, and I've seen it quite a few times, I grin from ear to ear the whole fucking time. It is fun, it's bombastic, it's silly. I still thoroughly enjoy it, and I don't care what anybody says. The fact that it didn't do well, and so they didn't get to go on and do a television spin-off of it, which they had planned on doing, really saddens me, because I think that there were a lot of really cool things they could have done with it, but neither here nor there. I love Van Helsing. I love the Matrix films. I think the second film is the best of the three. I think Michael Bay makes incredible films for the types of films he wants to make. So I don't apologize for liking Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 and Armageddon. Fuck it, you don't like it? I'm sorry, but getting, Bruce Willis up there, the best deep core driller, to drill out an asteroid with Aerosmith in the background. Come on, how can you not like that?
Just wanted to feel the power between my legs.
But the film that I like the most, I don't know if I say the most, but the film that I really like that most people either didn't like or didn't ever see is Speed Racer, that the Wachowski brothers did. I thought Speed Racer was not only the most beautiful film I have ever seen, with the luscious color palette, the most beautiful CGI I've ever seen. But it was fucking fun. It was just fun. Looked great, sounded great. You put that sucker up on my HD TV on Blu-ray, and it is as though the television is making sweet, sweet love to your eyes. Just all up in there, and it sounds phenomenal. It is, the fact that most people have never seen it saddens me, because it is that much fun.
I've never had my eyes made love to.
Oh,
before.
it will caress it. You'll hear the Barry White in the background as it makes love to your face. It is beautiful. It is beautiful.
I'll have to check that out.
It is. If I were going to sell high-def televisions, that would be the movie I put up, if only to demonstrate color and the palette and just how lovely they can be. But Speed Racer is a misunderstood film, and it's one of the few films that I think takes and adapts a property into a new medium, and yet retains everything that was wonderful about it in such a way that I think it makes it even better. I like this movie better than I like the cartoons. And I thought the Speed Racer cartoons were a lot of fun, but this movie I think is even better, and I wish more people would give it a chance.
All right. So Justin's sort of a guilty pleasures: Van Helsing, Speed Racer, anything by
And
Michael Bay.
Yes.
I liked Van Helsing.
I did too.
I really wish they'd do a sequel.
I don't know what the big hate was for that movie, honestly.
No,
Yeah, I mean, I was exhausted after that movie.
Yeah.
That was my only, if you want to call it, complaint. But it was a fun movie that had a whole lot of stuff thrown at you. So
Yeah, I really get mad when they just start doing TV shows off of a movie and they just stop. They don't even give them a chance. Like Van Helsing didn't even get a chance to even get going, but there's been others.
Yeah.
And it just that makes me so mad.
I don't have specific movies that are guilty pleasures for me. I just have certain types of things in movies that I like. One of the things, and I've mentioned this on the show before, I am a sucker for movies where you feel sorry for the main male character. I don't know why. There's something about, like, there's been so many movies where the guy is the asshole, is always jacking over some chick, and, you know, you're supposed to feel sorry for the girl, but then, like, it was always refreshing to me to come across a movie where you felt sorry for the guy. I don't know, maybe it's because I related to him, and I was...
It's just like looking in the mirror.
Does it hit a little too close to home for you? Is that what it is?
Something like that. Like, I just, you know... I don't know. And I also, hey, I don't know. Again, like Justin said, it's hard to say guilty pleasures because, I mean, there's movies that are good, but just you don't want to admit that you like them, or a lot of people don't. I like romantic comedies. Not necessarily.
Oh, God, yes.
Not necessarily ones that are. I haven't seen a really good one in a theater lately or anything, but like I've mentioned Notting Hill. There's just so many good movies out there that are funny that were done well. I don't know. I'm not ashamed to say I like stuff like that. So
When Harry Met Sally, still makes me cry.
Scott
when
likes
she's
all,
having that orgasm at the table.
Well, back when she looked good, yes.
Scott likes all Zac Efron movies.
No, I have not seen a Zac Efron movie. Is that a dude from like High School Musical or something? How about you, Brian? What's your quote unquote guilty pleasure?
Well, I'm not going to pussy out like you bitches and give wide, vague, non-answers. So I've actually got, since you guys kind of went more than one, I'm going to go more than one. I've actually got two.
Okay.
First one is Flash Gordon. It's campy. The acting
Go,
is
Flash,
horrible.
go!
The football fight is motivational. It's inspirational. It's a, you know, it doesn't translate well to nowadays, but I've loved that movie since I saw it, you know, as a kid. The soundtrack by Queen is awesome.
The chick who played Dale.
Oh, she's so horrible, but
She's so good looking, though.
she is. I just love that. And it's got Timothy Dalton in it, Brian Blessed, who is a pretty well-known British actor. A few other, of course, Max von Sydow or Sydow. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but he's a pretty well-known villain. He usually plays a bad guy in his movies. Anyway, it's there's not much that you can really say that's really good about this movie. But I love it anyway, and I don't give a damn.
I've never seen it. How old is that?
What?
1980 or
1980?
81,
How have
80
you
or
not
81.
seen Flash Gordon?
Flash? Ah!
Is that really
Savior
gonna,
of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
is that really gonna hold up now? I mean, at all?
Well, no.
No,
It's,
it's one I like because it's comic book.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
you know, it's just it's no, there's no way it doesn't translate well now. But it's a movie I've always loved. I had the soundtrack on tape, CD. Yeah, just about any format it's possible. So,
8-track.
I probably did.
Reel to reel.
What was your other? You said you had 2, right?
Yeah, I had to. The other one is Footloose.
Ah,
I love that movie. I cannot watch it without tapping my feet, and I might have gotten up and danced in the living room once or twice.
Will you admit to that?
No, but I'm just saying it could have happened.
Did you like the new one?
The the prom scene at the end of it is awesome. Just the conversation between Ren and Willard about the music groups, where he's asking him, "Do you like Men at Work?" and it's this whole play on words and everything. I just love it. I mean, you got tractor chicken, skinny ties, frilly blue tuxes. I mean, it's the epitome of an 80s. If you think 80s anything, Footloose is probably one of the first 3 things that you think about with 80s. So, and another movie with an awesome soundtrack with like Kenny Loggins, Bonnie Tyler, Denise Williams, and even Shalamar. So,
Brian, did you like the new one?
no, I haven't. I just about refused to watch the new one. So,
really?
yeah.
Can't spoil a classic.
I heard it was good too. Actually, they kind of changed the story around. Instead of it being like a religious thing, it's something about a car crash, right?
Yeah. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
the car crash is actually part of the first one, too.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. But they used the Bible aspect to, kind of force the town into no dancing and.
Yeah, Baptists don't dance.
It's kind of like that old joke, why don't Baptists screw standing up? It might be misconstrued as dancing.
Nice. All right, with that, we're going to wrap things up. This is the Hollywood Outsider Podcast. I'd like to thank each of my podcasters for coming on. Brian, thanks for joining us as always.
It's your pleasure.
It is my pleasure. If you'd like to get a hold of Brian, he has a Twitter feed, which is at BrianWMS. Also, thanks to Justin McCumber.
Oh, you are most welcome, sir.
I appreciate it. Justin has a website, justinmccumber.com. He is also a writer, and he is on a podcast. Actually, he runs a podcast called Dead Robot Society, which is a podcast for writers by writers.
4.5 years.
Nice. Congratulations, man. That's got to be a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Also, thanks to Sean for coming on. Kind of not really last minute, but thanks for joining in.
You're welcome.
Hope you had a good time.
As always.
We're going to see Real Steel tomorrow, so neither of us have seen that yet.
I hope you enjoy it.
I do.
I bought it and watched it last night. It looks phenomenal.
Awesome. Can't wait. And my name is Scott Clark. I am with the Official Thread Podcast. That's a podcast for gamers. You can reach me on my Twitter feed, which is at Official Thread. But for now, make sure you stay through the credits, as there are probably going to be some outtakes out there. As always, you can get a hold of The Hollywood Outsider, facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. The email is feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Be sure to tell your friends about the Hollywood Outsider Podcast if you like what you hear. There's subscriptions on iTunes, Zune, Google Reader. There's a Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up. And or you can always do the plain old RSS feed. There's also a Twitter account at H_outsider.
That's twatter.
That's twatter. Twitter, H_outsider. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. But one last thing. Next time you're at the movies, make sure that you do buy popcorn. Thanks for coming.
visit, I just wanna go home. And you're able to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
Or like Justin says, when we kind of, throw jabs at each other, he just kind of sits back, and when Justin's quiet and sitting back, something's going on. And he's like, awkward. Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
All right, everybody good?
Yep.
I'm good to go.
All right.
Oh, pardon me. That's how you test your levels. Good belch.
All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. This is the official... wow. This is not the official Thread podcast. This is the Hollywood Outside podcast.
Outtakes.
That's all I got.
128.13. Let's see. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Jesus.
Hey, you don't have to apologize to us. You got to apologize to Aaron.
Maybe you might want to not even put that in the outtakes.
I don't even think I should put that in the outtakes. That probably would get my ass fired. All right.
From your paying gig as
right.
host. Oh, I was supposed to start off the podcast by calling Scott a gay alcoholic pedophile. But I messed that one up.
A gay alcoholic pedophile? I'm not gay.
For me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. And you're able to understand that I'm doing the best I can. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. My love is blind, I just gotta clear my mind. And all I know is all I'd rather be home. You said I brought the pain, I just get it out of mine. And all I know